Hello Matrix, today we are going through our past paper from 2019, doing a video memo. Last week we did question 1.3, which was a little bit tricky, but hopefully that made sense to everyone. Today we are doing a sequence and series question, and it's a quadratic series. If you are not familiar with quadratic sequences, please check out some of my other videos, which I go through quadratic sequences. But hopefully from this question, you will know exactly what's going on afterwards. Okay, so the first thing I do is I write down my sequence. 321, 290, 261, and 234. And with quadratic sequences, if I don't know that it's a quadratic sequence, I need to find the first and the second difference. And if that is equal, if the second differences are equal, I know I have a quadratic sequence. Okay, so 290 minus 321 is 31. 261 minus 290 is 29. And 234 minus 261 is 27. In my mind, I added a positive, but it's actually a negative. Then I find the second difference. And those should be equal. Negative 29 minus 29, I'm minusing a minus, which is a plus. So it's minus 29 plus 29, which is 2. And minus 29 plus 31 is also 2. So that's our second difference. So the first question, 2.1.1, they want the first term. Well, I don't need to find the general term. I can simply just continue this sequence. So it would be 2 and 2. And then this would be minus 25 and minus 23. And then so 234 minus 25 is, let's get that bright color. So this would be 209. And 209 minus 23 is 186. Now I can use my calculator to check, but I'm going to check when I do 2.1.2. So I'm not going to put in the answers for 2.1.1 yet. I'm going to find the general formula, and I'm going to use for T4 and T5 as a test. Something I didn't write down, which I should do, is just to say that this is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and T6. Okay, so to find the general formula, I need to find A, B, and C. Now, if you don't know this, it's very, very important. To find A, we know that 2A is equal to this term here. This is what you have to learn. This 2A equals the first term. So just please excuse me for a second. Okay, and then to find out B, we have 3A plus B equals this number here. And then to find out C, the top is A plus B plus C. So in the orange, yellow, and rectangle, and blue rectangle, you need to learn these. A plus B plus C equals the first number in the first row. 3A plus B minus 31 equals minus 31 in the second row. and 2a equals 2. So then we use these numbers in order to calculate. So the first one, we'll say we're going to calculate a. So 2a equals 2. And so a equals 1. Then 3 times 1 plus b equals minus 31. And so we see that b is equal to minus 34. And finally, c Okay. All right. So, okay. Okay, and then to find out C, we use the A plus B plus C. So having found out A and B, we substitute A and B into the A plus B plus C, and then we get C equal to 32 plus 34 minus 1. So 32 plus 33 is 65. So our final formula is Tn equals so A is 1. So we don't actually have to write in the 1 there. And then B is minus 34. And C is 65. Okay, and to test this formula, we simply put in 5 and see if we get 209. So I'm going to say 5 squared plus, minus 34n, minus 34 times 5, plus 65 equals negative 80. Oh, this is 321. See, that's why we check 321. Okay, and so it'll be 321 plus 33, which will be 365, 355. That's why it's always good to check. You have to check. 354. 321 plus 33. Okay, let's try the 354. And we get to 209. Okay, so we now know that 209 is correct for the next term. And then we're just going to test 6 to make sure, double check. So I replace 6 and I get 186. So I've checked these two, they're right, 186. And I've also now know that my general formula is correct. So n squared Tn equals n squared plus minus 34n plus 65. Okay, then it says which term would have a value of 74. So I simply substitute in 74 for my Tn. So 2.3 74 equals n squared minus 34n plus 65. Get everything to one side, so 0 equals n squared minus 34n minus 9, because 65 minus 74 is minus 9. Okay, so 354. So I need to change that to 354 because remember I made an error there. So it was okay. 354. So 354 minus 354 minus 74 equals 280. So it's plus 280 here. This was 354. Okay, and now I can use my silver calculator, if I've got one, to put in my A as 1, my B as minus 34, and my C as 280. But if I don't have a silver calculator, I know that because I have a minus in the middle and this is positive, then I know that I have a minus minus. So I have an N and an N, and it's minus and minus. Okay, so let's have a look. 280, what are the factors of 280? So I could look at 14 and 20. And let's check. And that would work. Yeah, 14 and 20. Okay, so it's minus 14 minus 20. And so the terms would be n equals 14 and n equals 20. I can just say Tn and Tn of those different terms. I can just say 20 and 14. Okay, now so question 2.1 was here. Question 2.1 answer was here, and then this was 2.3. Now, 2.1.4, which term has the least value? Well, remember that this quadratic sequence is like a quadratic equation. And we know a quadratic equation looks like a parabola. Okay? So we have the value of, we can find the minimum of a parabola. Okay? So I'm not going to draw the axes. So the minimum will be here. And we know when we look at the equation for the turning point, we know that x, so 2.4, we need to remember the equation of a formula as x equals negative b over 2a. And that's going to tell us where we have our minimum, because that's our turning point. Okay. So I'm just going to make some space here. I'm going to take away okay, so what I'm going to do, in this case, it's not x, we actually, n is the equation. So instead of x, I can say n. So what I've put in green is just some theory, but what you're going to say is the bit in white, which is you're going to say n equals negative b, which is 34, negative 34, over 2 times 1. And that's going to give us 17. Well, there's a quicker way. We could have said 20 plus 14 over 2, because those are our 2 points. But rather than do that, I simply wanted to show the the theory behind it. So now that we know n is 17, we can substitute that into the original equation. So we say Tn equals 17 squared minus 34 times 17. Oh, we don't actually need to because we only need the term. So the term number is 17. So that's the answer. If they wanted to find out the smallest value, we would then substitute this in plus 354. But we don't need this. We don't need this. So our final answer is just this here, underlined in red. So 1.4 n equals 17, and I don't need this. This here is just if they were to ask you, what is the smallest number possible? Okay, so that is question 2.1, and in the next lesson we will do 2.2. Sorry for the interruption during the recording. Got a baby who is, a little bit of a sore tummy. Anyway, have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening.